Hi there, welcome to C&T Collectibles. I am C. I hope you're doing well and had a very enjoyable extended Labor Day weekend. This is 3 Up and 3 Down, where we take a look at the top 3 risers and fallers in the world of card ladder baseball cards, and then we'll hop over to Fangraphs and Star Stock and take a look at players who had good weeks on the actual diamond and wrap it up with a little bit of AL postseason award and playoff picture talk here. We'll start off with an honorable mention here. This is 93 SP foil Derek Jeter in a BGS 8.5. This is a card that I was actively targeting. We had spoken about it in the past here. Maybe that was the 8. I don't remember. One of the two here. Anyways, talked about this extension here, and it's like, not a lot of people believe this is the price. Look for a decline to a more natural level. We've gotten that a few times, and so if it was the 8 or the 8.5, I don't remember. But I missed out on a couple auctions in here, and so we had a little spike out of here, out of this compression. Wasn't able to hold, so brought down to the bottom of the range, and now you're back into an area where, yep, you probably, if you're looking for this card, that's probably a decent spot as any to buy for the time being. But if you're patient, you can see if there's a sustainable break up or down in the future here. But perhaps someone was front-running the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Class of 2020 is going in tomorrow, Wednesday the 8th. And Jeter's part of that, of course, and so maybe they're front-running it, but not a lot of people were willing to follow along here. So again, looks like a decent enough spot for the time being in your range here. Now you've got your range here, so again, a lot of sideways action perhaps, but again, time will tell. All right, get into the risers and fallers. Number 3 faller here, Donnie Baseball, 1984 Topps base in a PSA 9 with your compression, indecision, breakout, and then back into the range here. So again, if you're looking for this card, this is as good a spot as any over recent memory. The percentage moves are a little bit wild, but the dollar amount is not going to hurt you one way or another if you're interested in that particular card. Ken Griffey Jr. score traded, number 3 riser for the week, up 77%, PSA 9. A lot of indecision as well. So again, these cards are all kind of part of the same asset class, and so with some outliers that are playing well or some sort of news event or whatever, they're going to do a lot of the same thing here. So you can subdivide that into modern cards and older cards, and so you can see some of these older cards here. They're doing the same compression here, the breakout, and so if the next one was kind of a fake out, the next sale brought us back into this range, that certainly wouldn't surprise me, especially after a 77% up week here. Number 2 faller Dustin May, 2020 Topps Chrome base in a PSA 10. That resistance bringing you back down to an area where there's been perhaps a little bit more buying. These spikes are for selling on, well, unless they spike down, then they're for buying as well. So but it's in an area here. Dodgers are playoff relevant. He will not be, but perhaps next year. He was looking good, so perhaps I'm just not talking about the flow either, man. He looked at his actual picture, but that flow, it just steps it up a level, doesn't it? So next year he could be a bigger part of that team if he's able to come back healthy. So if you're looking for this card, this seems like the area to do it. Number 2 riser for the week, Mookie Betts up 100%. This is the PSA 9 in the 2014 update. That's a monster move, $75 up to $150. This was a best offer sale according to Card Ladder data, so prefer to see auction prices dictate the price here. So $75, $80 is where those auctions have been going here. So talked about Mookie plenty on the Friday show here. Anything under $100 for that PSA 9 with that PSA 10 in that 3 to 350 range is a pretty good price. $75, $80 is a really good price. At this price rate here, $150, you're looking at what would imply a PSA 10 being about $450, which we're not there. So if the next sale brought it into that $100 or just a little bit less, that would probably be a bit more reasonable. Again, you don't chase 100% moves, and if you're patient, then you can probably get it again if you're looking for that card here. Number 1 faller for the week, Fernando Tatis Jr., PSA 10, Topps Chrome Refractor. So here your downward compression, which usually resolves itself to the downside here. So quick move, not much you can do about that one. I think if the next sale brought us back up in this area, sure, wouldn't surprise me. But here's an area where there's been a number of transactions in the past year, so downside is probably fairly minimal from this point here. In dollar terms, yeah, I mean, it could still be another $100 or something like that. So not insignificant, but he's your clubhouse leader for NL MVP. That news flow should bring out some buyers here. So I don't know what happened on this sale. If it was a one-off, was a weird timing, quick buy now or something like that. But I think that if you're able to get that price, in the immediate future, at least it looks pretty good here. But your support is very close by. Number 1 riser for the week here, Mike Trout. All right, good to see Mike Trout back in the rising column for once here. This is the 2012 Prism in a green refractor. Green color, green refractor. I don't know if it's an actual refractor. It's green. And there's a lot of green for him this week here, up 177%. Probably doesn't come up very often. You just buy it if you see it. And that's all she wrote on this one. So, buy, sell, whatever, it doesn't matter, because you're probably not seeing another one again in the near future. All right, let's hop over to Fangraphs and Star Stock. Okay, we'll start off with a couple pitchers who had terrific weeks on the actual diamond. And their first one is Adrian Houser, who had a complete game shutout against St. Louis with 7 strikeouts. So, congratulations. Thanks for doing that after I had you on my team and dropped you. So, 28 years old, 3.2 wins to his name here. Hasn't really done much up to this point. So really, in the context of this is a terrific start. So ERA of 3.41, pitching more at a 4.2 level, doesn't strike out a ton, walks a little too much. And so this is firmly a trading basket type player who had a great week, but is for the rest of his outings this year in career, not a whole lot going on. Well, you're a major leaguer, so got to take that. That's pretty awesome. And you're on Milwaukee, which apparently is magic for pitchers. So who knows what happens from here? So you trade it, but if you're buying it, don't just buy it and hold it. Star Stock A ripped at the beginning of the season, but there's not much going on since then. The Bs are at 10%, which is probably where the A's should be, honestly. So play that one at your own risk if you're so inclined. All right. Gerrit Cole, it's been a terrific week, terrific season, really overall in career, not so shabby either. So 1 game started, 1 win, 7 innings pitched, earned run, and 15 strikeouts. Dude's just a beast here. So it turns 31 tomorrow. Be early birthday, Mr. Cole. So it's like 15 years my junior, so calling him Mr. is kind of goofy here, but it is what it. All right, it is what it is. 35 wins to his name here. So for this season, we know he's awesome here. So. 2.73 ERA, 2.73 xFIP. He's pitching exactly how he should. So striking out a ton, not walking a lot. 14-6 for a playoff team. But again, we're looking at that 35 wins here. If he can hang on and pull a Verlander, Greinke type, Scherzer type stuff here, go another 5 years and be an effective pitcher, as he's been for the past few. Then we got something here. So one of the big concerns we have is his spin rate, and so. We'll look at what's happened here in Houston. It really went up. I wonder what happened on that one here, and it's leveled off in the season since this year. You had your spider tack stuff going on here, and so it's continued to trend down a bit in a few areas here. The curveball and the slider have held in pretty well. And the fastball and the changeup have dropped off just a bit here, but it's not been this precipitous drop where it's like there's probably some substance that really. That did it because the other pitches have held in just fine. So anyways, this is an interesting hold for the longer term. His 2013 Topps update is recognizing what he's doing this year. Probably your AL clubhouse leader for Cy Young. This $10 to $12 area is kind of your resistance where selling is taking place. So minimal upside if you're able to get it. $6 to $8 area, that might be a little bit better here. The Bs, if they are in that $2 to $3 area, might be of more interest. But Gerrit Cole, he's recovered from whatever scandal people thought was going on, and he's been extremely effective. All right, Jose Suarez. I gotta quit hitting those tabs here. Wrap it up with Jose Suarez, who threw a complete game with 1 earned run and 8 strikeouts. The Angels are letting the kid loose just in time for whatever the heck is going on here. So they're shutting it down and letting him have some fun. 23 years old, kind of a perfectly middle prospect. So for the season, for the career, I'm looking for the game logs here, and you can see that his innings pitched haven't really let him loose at all. And so this time they just said, you know what, heck with the kid, go for it. And so. Struck out a decent amount here, and basically 23, you don't know what you're getting with not a hugely hyped prospect or anything like that. So a good game, and we'll just leave it at that. And you can see that his Star Stock is 2019 Topps Update Series Baseball. Starting to get a little bump. It's in firm speculation zone, so if you think the Angels can make something out of this kid, then that's fair enough to speculate if he can do something. But there's just nothing in the pedigree that says this guy's gonna be lights out and all that kind of stuff. So buy it. Who knows? Maybe get a pop or two, and if you do, then you sell it. But I'm not advocating buying or anything like that, because he's going to be largely irrelevant from here and through the next season unless he finishes up extremely strong and repeats his most recent performance. But in the offseason, maybe you can still get that price and do something into spring training next year. Who knows? All right, let's talk about some hitters here. And we will start it off with Mr. Frank Schwindel, who's been just a beast for the week. 14 for 30, 5 home runs, 8 runs scored, 13 RBI. Best player in the history of baseball over the past week here. And it's fun to see. Here's a guy that just turned 29, getting his first taste of the bigs for the most part here. The Cubbies, they're not going anywhere, not doing anything, so they're just letting him play. Maybe they should have let him play earlier if he's going to do this. So for the season, he's just 153 plate appearances, 40 games. So hasn't had a huge taste here, but he's a professional looking hitter here. But that BABIP, 365 BABIP with the 340 average, isolated power over 300. It's like, okay, all that just kind of screams regression for the most part here. 173 weighted runs created. I mean, you're basically Vlad level is what it is. So he had a really hot week, and he's been playing well for the last couple of weeks. The guys over at the ESPN Fantasy Focus baseball podcast were talking about him a few weeks ago. And this, I think they're comparing with like Christian Yelich or something. And they're like, who'd you rather have going forward, Yelich or Schwindel? And they're like, yeah, Schwindel, he's playing well and he's got a spot. And who knows what your, a little more potential upside or something like that. And they were dead on. I just completely ignored it. My fantasy team was set at the corners and first and third base. It's like, I shouldn't look at him. And I probably should have, because people that did look at his 2020 Topps Update baseball card have done very, very well. They took a speculative shot at him in the 10 to 15 cent area. And it ripped. So Cubs aren't going anywhere. He's exceeding every conceivable metric for a hitter right now. So I would not do anything here with it. Again, 29 years old, getting his first taste and just lighting it up. That's awesome. But over the offseason, if you believe what he can do and can have some solid seasons, then you probably let it go. But fun to see nonetheless here. All right. All these guys are rolled down because I recorded this already without the microphone on, so we'll have to reset a few of these here, but we should be good to go for the most part here. Marcus Semien, 7 for 25, 5 home runs as well, 5 runs scored, 10 RBI, monster week. Jays are playing some decent ball here, so elite level bat for the season, 5.9 WAR, just a monster season here. He's done this in the past year, a couple of years ago with Oakland, MVP elite level type season here. So 25 with 33 home runs, 37 home runs, and sacrificing a little bit of average here, but the BABIP down just a touch here, but he's putting the ball out of the park. This is amazing. Too bad he couldn't do that in his age 24, 25, 26, and maybe 27 seasons here. So if he would have done that, we'd be having a different conversation. So again, you're talking about a 30-year-old who turns 31 in just a few days here with 25 wins above replacement. And so he was going to have to put up 35 wins. You'll have like 7 more 5-win seasons, which may be a little bit too much to ask here. So he's turned on the juice here, but unfortunately maybe just a little bit too late for long-term investment purposes. But short-term, what the heck? There's always something to do there. So 2014 Topps Series 2 base, Marcus Semien sitting at $3.50 for a Star Stock A, 50 cents for a Star Stock B. So kind of your range is $2.50 to $4. You're at the higher end of that range. Toronto outside looking in here. So over the offseason, maybe a better time to look at that card rather than when he's having an incredible week during a pretty amazing season here. All right, Jeimer Candelario, 10 for 26 with a pair of home runs, 8 runs scored, 7 RBI. And this is a 27-year-old on the wrong side of 27, coming up on 28 here with 7 wins to his name. So just looking at that, we will say trading basket type player, not just buy and hold and forget. Amazing season last year and a shortened season here. Pretty darn good season this year as well. Tigers aren't going anywhere. It might be something you look at in the off season, but it is a shorter term view on him rather than the long-term bent. 2016 Topps Update is in the Cubbies uniform. Nice picture there. Sitting at $1.50. I don't know how much demand to get out from a Tiger. And again, having some nice seasons here, but longer term, you kind of want to exit. And I think, he's probably not, that's pure speculation because he's got a bit of a track record here. So 15 to 20 cents, probably not. But if you were able to get him closer to 50 cents to $1 or something like that, may be a bit more interesting. And if not, then it is what it is. Because again, this isn't a guy you want to go nuts on, I don't think, for the long term. All right, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., 8 for 21 with a pair of home runs, 5 runs scored, 13 RBI. Again, the Jays are just putting up some numbers here. So close to 28, 27 years old, close to 28. He wasn't a huge prospect. He had some speed and outfield ability, but he's outperformed his hit and his power metrics just a little bit here. So again, almost 28 with 4.3 wins. This is a trading basket type player. He was an elite level bat in the shortened season last year, hoping for a repeat, and he's reduced his strikeout rate just a bit here, but the power hasn't really shown itself as of up until recently. So 16 home runs for the season. You're hoping for maybe 25 or 30, but maybe for upwards of 20. That's what we're getting from him this year. Hoping for a little bit more average, a high BABIP guy, and so for him, a 309 is a little bit low because of that speed. So. But more in line what he's done over the course of a complete season. So, yeah, what you're getting out of him is what you're getting out of him. Pretty decent player. Man, I would have loved to have seen he and his brother come over at an early age here. So, I guess he came over early enough. But if Yuli came over at this age and was doing what he's doing now, we'd be talking about a Hall of Fame type player here. So, Lourdes, good player in his own right here. But trading basket type stuff here. 2018 Topps update card, and his prices reflect that. So. If you think the Blue Jays can make some hay over the next couple of years, he'll be part of it. That's for darn sure here. So it's worth a speculative move here, maybe into the off season, preseason, or something like that. Maybe there's a bit of a bump here, but there's probably better names to look at. But again, if he comes in next year and he's a 30 home run guy with 280, that plays. Man, that's probably worth a little bit more than this. So there may be something there. All right, wraps up the hitters. Let's look at some of the AL playoff standings here. And so we've got Tampa, Houston, and Chicago that are probably going to hang on to their division leads here. The Yankees and Boston are your wild card teams as of now, and they've got to catch Tampa. And they're 7-8 games off of that one. So that's going to be my math is probably 8-9 games off of that, really. So my math was a bit off there. So 8-9 games off. So there's a lot to make up here with a month left of games, and so it looks like that's kind of set here at Houston. Their closest competitor is let's see, yeah, they didn't really have anybody trailing there. So out in the West, Seattle's 5 games back. Again, this is probably too much to make up with a month left. Chicago, their closest competitor, 68 wins here, 11 games. Forget it. Chicago is in. So Yankees and Boston, they just need to hold off these teams here, and 4 or 5 games still a pretty tall task. So I think these teams are able to hang on. So your playoff picture is most likely largely set for the AL. All right, so target players on these teams. They're always expensive no matter what. But some of the White Sox and Houston players, Tampa Bay. we've talked about Brandon Lau, Wander Franco starting to play better here. So. Could be pretty interesting here. So AL for the MVP race here, looking at Vlad Guerrero, who would probably win it in any other year if it wasn't for this guy right here and his pitching exploits, leading the league in home runs, average not much to write home about, strikes out a ton, but he's putting balls out of the yard at a pace that's enough that with the pitching that's decent. That's going to get him the MVP. The one thing that maybe could give people a little bit of a nudge here, he's leading the league. Vlad is leading the league in average. His profile is elite for the long term here. So, all right, as leading the league in average, he's right there in RBI, just trailing Devers. In his home runs, he's trailing by 3. What if he comes up with a triple crown? We'll see how that goes. That might be too much to ignore here, but for now it is show high. But look at some of these other players in that race here. Semien, we talked about him. Cedric Mullins breaking out with a terrific season. Correa on the when he's healthy, he's amazing here. Jose Ramirez, this will be like the 4th year out of 5 that he's a top 5 MVP player. Devers, Judge, we like all these guys here, but it's probably him for now. All right, American League, Cy Young. And Gerrit Cole is having just an amazing season, 14-6, striking out 12 for 9, walking hardly anybody. ERA and xFIP just matching, so what he's doing is legit. He's just a long-term great player and having a terrific season this year. And so his main competition, probably Nathan Ianvalli, get another playoff team here, but I don't think he's that darn close. He's got a lot of wins, but must be getting some run support, something like that. Strike runs aren't quite there. ERA is off by a point here. Your next closest ERA competitor is Robbie Ray, who's been pretty darn amazing, but they're not going to the playoffs for the most part. And so the strikeout rate's been incredible. He's dropped his walk rate off a cliff, so he's been a terrific arm this year, and he's in the conversation, but I don't think he gets it here, especially not without being in the playoffs, leading the league in ERA. So, but he's not going to overtake Gerrit Cole with that one. Dylan Cease probably not going to do it either, but he's in the playoffs and he is going to be relevant. He's been pitching great as of late. And so this is a player we've talked about a bit in the past, so we'll do it one last time here. So his 2020 Top Series 1 baseball card, Dylan Cease, again with those White Sox. He's in speculation mode here, and I think he should be worth more than speculative name here. So 15 to 20 cents, and if he does anything in the playoffs, I mean, this is a name that could be a double from this area here. I don't know if you get it for that price, but it could be a pretty decent move up here. So, all right, that's what I got for you. Taking up too much of your time, and I appreciate all of your time. Thank you all for watching and for your support. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll get back at you soon. Bye now.